Welcome back, class, to White Caliber. Today we are playing Strike with the exclamation point. It has to happen.
Wow. Wait. I mean, it's not welcome back to White Caliber.
Isn't it?
Is it?
He's always White Caliber. It's not like we're inside of him.
No, White Caliber is my channel's name.
Yeah. I got it right. Stop.
That's like it's your handle.
No, my handle's Matt.
I don't say welcome back to twitch.tv/caffeinated-smug.
Actually, I think you do.
No, not in that particular sequence.
Anyway, please continue with your introduction.
Yeah, please continue.
Indeed. We're playing
White Caliber
Strike.
channel.
Yes, welcome to White Caliber's channel.
youtube.com/WhiteCaliber.
Yeah, so we're playing Strike with the exclamation point. We are playing in the Eberron setting, which I went over at some length last time, though we'll probably do a little bit of recap here. Today we're playing with Smuggles. I should probably switch back to the other page so people can see our lovely icons, rather than that lovely map.
The map's pretty nice.
But, I mean, nothing compares to, like, Moktish.
But how do I see that lovely mat?
Aw.
Well, you've had the opportunity.
Yeah, Smuggles is playing Moktish.
That's right, I am.
Should we do character introductions as I go, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Introduce
All
Moktash.
Smuggles, tell us a little bit about Moktash.
Tell us about John Tesh.
John, yeah, that was actually a thought that went through my mind when I was naming. I was like, John Tesh. He used to be on ET, and he did the NBA on NBC theme music.
Well,
and I know that because he once did this skit on Conan where they were talking about how he made that, and every time the theme plays, money just rains down on John Tesh. And then he starts laughing like a maniac.
So what does his son Moktish do?
His son is, shit, where's my sheet? Where's my sheet?
He was unprepared.
You know.
Put him on the spot. You put him on the spot.
I know, right? He's clearly Nicolas Cage. That's what he is. No, he's he's a psychic gatekeeper. He's a Kalashtar, as I like to call them. Which means he's a psychic. Well, not really. Sort of. He's who? Sylvia Brown. Too soon. She died. Damn.
He's Murphy Brown.
Yeah.
All right, let's
He's
continue.
Murphy Brown. No. He's this guy who is like. If you don't know the Kalashtar, you should probably look them up. They've got this long lineage of being connected to these. What I've come to understand are kind of like dream head monsters that exist
Nightmare
from another
ghosts.
realm.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all like 76 of them escaped from their dream realm and came to this one, and then they all just keep having babies.
Something like that.
Yep.
Fantastic.
If you go to the Wikipedia site for Kalashtar, you will see that word for word right now. They just keep having babies.
Keep having nightmare babies.
Nothing but nightmare babies. About being
That's
there.
because of the legacy of unemployment and poverty in the Kalashtar culture.
It's a cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a generational problem.
And I don't know how in-depth you want me to introduce my character right now, Steven.
Well, why don't you tell us what everyone else in the group would know about Moktash, which doesn't necessarily mean everything that, Moktash is about, but just what he's chosen to reveal.
You gotta have some secrets.
That's right.
It is Eberron.
They do. They know that he used to roll with the gatekeepers, just wandering the lands, checking on these gates to the realm of insanity.
All right. As a DM aside, the Gatekeepers are a druidic sect that basically dedicate themselves to holding back Zoriat, the realm of madness.
Oh,
Yeah, an entire goddamn realm just wanted to.
good work,
First on out.
gatekeepers. Good work.
Yeah, keep that up.
Yeah. So he used to be one of those. He isn't anymore. He's with the group because, in particular, our mutual employer, rather.
Revo is his name.
Yeah. Whatever his name is.
Max Revo.
I love it because he's after something, but he hasn't really told anybody what that is. But it's very personal.
All right, that's
Excellent.
good. Now we've got D. Davis, who's playing Frazzlefuse.
All right. Frazzlefuse. He was in a goblin mob, so I guess you could call him a moblin, but what they used to do was go around and do sweet kick-ass lightning rail heists and steal safes off them and all that stuff. But then they all got caught, and Frazzlefuse sold them all out to get a special deal to work for these reclaimers, because he's like, my neck is important to me, and not these other people's necks. So that's his business. That's his whole deal.
Well, sounds like he's a right bastard.
He's not the greatest, but he's not in jail right now, so he wins.
Who's the sucker?
Do we know that he did that?
Nope. Rebo certainly does. Cause,
And here I'm the one with the betray the party legacy.
I haven't betrayed any of you yet.
That's going to be literally every comment on every video. So when's Mike betraying everybody?
Or when
should just make your icon
Mike
Starscream.
and Farrell gonna get together with their characters?
Speaking of Mike, why don't you tell us about not Gygax, but Gyrix?
Gyrax. Yeah.
Gyrax. Okay.
Gary Gyrax.
I will fuck up all the time and pronounce it Gygax. I'm sorry.
Perfect. It's okay. Should have just made it that way. Okay, so
It's a tribute.
yes. So Gyrax is a dragonborn who hails from the continent of Argonessen. He, unlike most dragonborn, was bent towards a more scholarly pursuit. He didn't really fit in with the martial culture and was more comfortable with books and scrolls and studying and things like that.
So
And
he's a Dragonborn nerd who was run
Yes.
out by the jocks.
kind of. Almost.
Wallet Inspector.
See, he's always been most intrigued by the draconic prophecies and aimed to one day make his way up into the court of his relevant Dragon King and study them alongside. And one day he was summoned to the court of his Dragon King and bid to travel to the continent of Corvair and to make his way into the employment of the dwarf NPC whose name I don't know. Yes, but from the manner of the request, he instinctively understood that the only reason he would be asked to do something so crazy was if the draconic prophecies had spoken of it. So he is here believing that he will play some role in an important aspect of the draconic prophecies to come.
Awesome.
Revo loves his keys.
Sure
He does love his keys.
We're just keeping the Velociraptor around.
All
He's
right,
a good
Jared.
mascot.
He
Why don't you tell us about Rook?
Rook is a mercenary swordsman and troubleshooter. He doesn't really talk about himself or his past very much. Rook is obviously not his real name.
I couldn't have guessed.
But nobody really knows that sort of much about his background because he doesn't share it at all. But otherwise, he's a fairly easygoing sort of character. Not really dark and brooding. He'll save that for Gyrax. And and he often has surprising bits of knowledge.
About blood magic.
No,
Yeah, I said blood magic.
it's not blood magic.
Does he have a collar on?
No,
What are his feelings towards dogs?
indifferent.
All right. Arp, Y Caliber, Mr. Man. Why don't you tell us about Depp?
I will tell you about Depp. Depp is a former deputy. Obviously, his name is Deputy, but he goes by Depp now because he's not a deputy anymore. And he respects, the forms of these things. So he's a warforged. He was built towards the end of the war by House Cannith for the Sentinel Marshals, who wanted essentially a disposable guy that they could throw into the worst situations imaginable without having to kill anybody. So, I was like, hey, there's a pit of acid, send in the deputy. Oh, that hallway is full of saw blades, send in the deputy. Depp hated this, and so when the Warforged were emancipated a few years ago, he gave the Sentinel Marshals the middle finger and went to find the nearest group of people who were the least like them that he could find, and so now here he is.
Sounds good. All right, and last we have Farrell. Jordan, tell us a little bit about Skylar.
Skylar was born in Sharn, came up from the Cogs, was part of a small group of thieves. In growing up in the Cogs, though, there's a little bit of an incident. She lost an arm. Doesn't entirely remember what happened there, but still got around it, learned how to do things. She's good at picking locks, figuring things out, putting some gadgets together. And she broke into the wrong workshop one day and was caught and subsequently taken in by a dwarven machinist. And she spent most of her life working at that shop and eventually built herself an arm out of warforged components. And it is grafted onto her body. She's worked with Rook in the past. She's something of a treasure hunter, thrill seeker. And if you see her actually hit you with just the gigantic metal fist, it's probably a good day for you.
All right, then. But,
and
hopefully we know that the old campaign is non-canon. There is no Curran in this campaign.
Be in my heart.
Aww.
Anyway, all right, that sounds great. So we have ourselves a happy little group of reclaimers. Let's go back to the Corvair map for a moment. All right, this is just to give you a general idea of how the Corvair continent is set up. The 5 major nations there are Ondair, Thrain, Karnath, Breland, and, well, used to be the Morland, but Morland used to be Sire, but no longer is. Just to give you an idea of where we are, if you scroll down to the bottom of the map so that my ping will show up, we're starting right here. Right there on the hilt of the Dagger River.
Hey, it looks like a dagger.
It's well named. Yeah.
Oh, come on, why is my death already being called here? Nothing.
Those people are smart.
Sharn is the city of towers. It is a towering tower city. It's built into several different collections of towers, different districts that are separated by things, and I actually, for some reason, did not upload that map. That's stupid of me. But yeah, so basically if I start referring to things like Dura or Talbot's Landing or whatever it was, I don't remember. I was a little rushed today, so I wasn't totally prepared, but oh well.
It's alright, I only blame you entirely.
That it is entirely my fault, but I got a new grill, so everyone's invited for steaks.
Oh, good.
Yay!
I'll just get on an airplane.
You
Right
have the
now,
shortest flight here.
Yeah, probably.
But in Sharn, you guys have all collected for your various and sundry reasons. Probably the main one is Revo de Kundrak, who is the head of our little Reclaimers organization. Revo is a wealthy, proper Lord de Kundrak. He has a lesser mark of warding, which makes him part of the de Kundrak family. Well, and that gives him a lot of connections. But most Kundraks are basically kind of they're concerned with security. Revo is concerned with not that. He is a dwarf that enjoys luxuries. He likes fine cigars, fine wine, fine food, good art, all those sorts of deals. So basically what he looks for is himself. He likes getting money, and most of all, he likes spending money. And despite what you may think, he actually is pretty generous. He really enjoys sharing his luxuries. So when he gets good food in, he always invites his workers to eat dinner with him, and he's always handing out cigars that are like really high quality. He's a good guy generally. It's just that he's got kind of that willing to do shady business side to him. Nothing, like assassination work or anything like that, but obviously he's hired you guys to do less than legal work, so there's that. And today he's got a job for you.
Oh, good.
Hooray!
Excellent.
So, I probably don't have that map saved either, do I? No, I don't. But there's this the district within Sharn. Pretty sure it's named Precarious.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
It sure is named Precarious. It's basically a warehouse district. It's set up on one of the lower levels of Sharn, not quite the cogs, but basically right on the hilt, that little stretch that goes across the Dagger River.
All right.
His office, this is basically where he does his business, but mostly the business of the actual, respectable side of his salvage business. These are the guys that dredge the rivers and stuff, and it's a team of dwarves, all people that the House Gundrak has personally vetted and signed and approved for. You guys are kind of the guys that he lets in the back door.
Phrasing.
Oh my.
Damn.
Have we just retired phrasing?
Like, how frequently does he let us in the back door?
Depends how much gold there is to find there.
Yeah.
That's true. It really matters. Depends on how much gold there is.
Interesting.
I bet it is. All right, but actually, it is a slight red light district as well, because it's the docks. So there's sailors to take coin from. Indeed. So, you guys have assembled here and drawn into Revo's office. And for once, Revo, for the gregarious nature that he is, he's kind of a loudmouth. He seems a little subdued today.
Uh-oh.
Aye, boys and lady.
Well,
I have a job for you here in Sharn. A local one. Bit of a prickly business, however.
How prickly are we talking here?
Yes. Too prickly is bad.
Because let me tell you, one time I had to walk straight into a field full of nettles, and I ain't going to do that again anytime soon.
Why? Because you might get a couple of scratches on the metal plates on your legs?
Now look here, you. Just because you got an arm don't make you one of us. You don't know the struggle.
He's got you there.
I'm not trying to be one of you.
Then don't try and tell me what I'm dealing with.
In any event.
Yeah, Revo starts waving his hands. It's just like, let's put that aside. I need you folks, boys and girls and girl, to go to the High Walls District. And that is when you know that it definitely is prickly, because the High Walls District is where they house the Syrian refugees.
Uh-oh.
It's not a good place to go.
Wait, what refugees?
Syrian, they're basically you remember the whole thing with the mourning happening and one of the countries stopped existing because it's now a desolate wasteland? Yeah, the people who live there didn't all die. They have fled to other parts of the world now, and Well, they've all assembled here. Well, some have assembled here in Sharn. And one whole district of it, the High Walls district, is, well, that's where they go. So basically, the people that most would have still lingering resentment with because they fought them in the war, they're all corralled in this one area. So, you know, Sharn locals don't really like them much. And the feeling is mutual.
Glad they're getting along. All those law-abiding citizens.
Well, about that. You see, it isn't the Syrian refugees in trouble in mind, but it is some trouble coming to the Syrian refugees. Some people, I don't know whom, have been demanding protection money from the High Walls district people. And we've been hired to, well, take it back.
Is that so? Well, I reckon that's going to take us some mighty subtle maneuvering.
It is indeed very prickly.
Why would anyone want to get protection from the Sirens? They have
Other
no
way around.
money. Oh, other way.
Yeah, they're extorting money from the Sirens.
But they have no money.
They do.
Oh.
They work.
Must have some, or they'd have starved to death.
Yeah. It's 4 years after the war. I mean, they've gotten some sort of job so far. It's just that they're treated like crap.
What do you think this is, Kirkwall?
Well, I know we got some kind of wall, but I ain't never heard of this Kirk fella.
I get it. But as for that, Revo just kind of waves his hands and says, that's all. Go for it. Yes.
I feel like that's not all.
He looks immediately nervous and just doesn't... Yeah.
Revo, if we don't have all the information going in, we can't do the job properly. You don't want us going in blind, do you?
I know, but
I prefer to research thoroughly.
our client asked to be anonymous. And I'm not keen on revealing who's paying us.
Now, does it rhyme with dentinal barshals?
No. Definitely
Then
not.
I ain't bothered.
Was
Good,
it a dragon?
No. Why would I be dealing with dragons?
He just looks... Garak just looks really disappointed. He probably asks us a lot if dragons are involved with anything they're doing.
I think there is actually a dragon in the Aurum, which is a society that Rebo belongs to. But he doesn't like them.
How rude.
To be fair, they're a jerk, and I think they're a chromatic dragon. I had to read up on
Oh. Garak just has a shirt he's constantly wearing that just says, like, dragons are the best.
it.
It's been
Go dragons.
embroidered into the tunic.
Well,
he's
that's
got.
fine. You don't need to reveal the identity of your client. I mean, confidentiality is, of course, important in a business like this.
Right, of course.
But if there's anything we need to know to do the job, you should tell us.
He just grunts a little bit and says, well, it might not be... There might be some trouble from other districts, and perhaps some ties to other...
And just how many people are going to be gunning for us if we take on this job?
It depends on how careful you are. Look, these people might have ties to House Tarkin, okay? That's what I'm just saying.
Oh.
For those of you who don't know, House Tarkanin is a local organized crime ring. And they basically kind of are styled after the dragon marked houses, except for that they go after and recruit people with aberrant dragon marks, which are... well, they get you killed instantly if you see they have one, because they don't fit into the prophecy, and they're also evil. Like, in 4th edition, they had 3 of them, and the one was like the Mark of Contagion, the Mark of Terror, and then I forget what the last one was. But they're not good. They're always like evil and corrupting. And this house is full of them.
Well,
Scourge of the prophecy. They must be cleansed.
easy there, Pilgrim.
Now, it's not House Tarkanan themselves, just that I have heard some things that, they are possibly tied to them. Maybe, possibly, could be.
That's an awful lot of waffle in there, Revo.
Well,
I do like waffles.
Do you have a name that won't compromise your client?
He sits back and sort of scratches his chin. I don't know if they'll be wanting to make contact with you. Perhaps they'll perhaps if they are informed that you're in the area, they'll choose to contact you instead.
Now, by contact, do you mean stab in the back?
No, of course not.
I mean, not that that's going to bother me too much. But all the same, these folks probably ain't got quite so much metal in them.
So, nettles bother you, but getting stabbed doesn't?
Hey, someone stabs me, I can stab them right back. Nettles, they just doing what nature made them for.
I would prefer not to be stabbed.
No, they will not do anything to harm their own district, he says very slowly.
So, Sirens.
He doesn't even, nod his head.
Well, if someone could inform these people that we're going to be heading in there ahead of time, then I suppose we'd be able to, or they would if they contact us, then I suppose we'll find out what we find out.
I'll send one of the boys along ahead of you and to tell our clients about you. Yes. So you'll take the job then.
I don't see why not.
Good.
How much were we getting paid for this?
He quotes some amount that seems very reasonable.
That seems real reasonable.
I have a feeling this seems reasonable.
That's a mighty reasonable price there.
What does a Warforged even need money for?
Wax.
Screws and bolts, maybe?
It's got to have maintenance,
That's true.
Various oils.
He's got to pay Skylair for maintenance.
Some sick new manga.
I got my needs just as you got yours. Just because I don't make my needs come out the other end when I'm done with them, don't mean they don't exist.
Right. Well, there's that. So, I'll send one of the boys along, and I will inform them of your imminent arrival. Just be careful, okay?
Much obliged.
We're always careful.
Yeah. Careful is Rook's middle name.
He looks between, the Warforged, the Bomberman, and, the girl with the mechanical arm, and just kind of slowly nod.
We said careful, not subtle.
One of Depp's eye slits, irises shut, and then back open again.
It's like an audible wink sound.
Tink.
It actually just is a sound effect that plays. Wink!
All right. So, is there any more questions for Revo?
Where do you all reckon we should begin?
Well, the High Walls whoa. The High Walls district is in Tavrick's Landing, which is the eastern end of Sharn. It is where most people who actually enter Sharn from the ground anyway. Enter, and it's kind of the checkpoint, and deciding who's good, not dirty enough to be turned away. So it's in the lower end, and yeah, I should just see if that map's there. One sec. But tell me what you're doing, yes.
I guess we're going to start heading down there, or do you have preparations you need to make?
Well,
Not so fast. Or it won't take me that long. Well,
I mean, do any of us have any other contacts in the city that we might be able to get information from before we head in there?
I might, because I have the resource skill Informants.
okay.
So I may have connections in the Syrian refugees, seeing as I used to work all over the world with the jerk cops.
Really, just you're a huge fan of those guys.